Welcome, everyone, to the Rules Committee meeting of Monday, August 1st, 2022. We do have a quorum, and so we can begin our business. And the first item is public comment, and Ray Friedman, would you like to tell us what's on your mind?
We don't have enough time to tell you what's on my mind, but thank you. Good afternoon, Rules Committee members. The first thing that I'd like to mention is it's actually an email that was sent out. Don't know if everybody received it, but Mike Vasilko had a request that all council members have a ward meeting at least 6 times a year. I know most wards do have monthly ward meetings. If the Rules Committee could get together and make that a rule that wards have ward meetings in person, that would be awesome. So my follow-up to that was that that ward meetings not be held on the same day as each other, or not held on the same day as any other city meetings. It's very disturbing to me that you would have 2, 3, 4 ward meetings on the same night, same time. Well, I would go to all of them. So that's impossible. So it's not fair. Residents can't stay informed if they can't go to the meetings. All right, the other option is to record them, which I've been saying for years, and people are objecting. I don't know why we can't record ward meetings. There were 2 or 3 wards that did record their meetings. So that would be very helpful. So last thing I have for now is to comment on R3. So I want to thank Council Member Claire Kelly for amending this to include residents for being harassed. I was a part of that between 2 and 3 years ago, coincidentally, by the same alderman who brought forward this item. So there were 2 aldermen that I know of that were brought to the Ethics Committee on those kind of complaints, on harassment, being bullied. I had to testify at the Ethics Committee to testify against this alderman who brought this item forward, which is just kind of ironic that you're the one being charged with an ethics violation, and now you want to correct it, okay? And the only reason that he wasn't found guilty is because they used the wrong code. And the code that they used, I was told by the mayor, not Mayor Biss, but the mayor said that they used the wrong code, and he could be, the violation could result in jail time. And so when I testified, I said, this is not a jailable offense. What we were looking for is an apology, plain and simple, which we never got. So, end of story for now. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you. And I believe Mary Rosinski is online to give us some public comment. Does anybody know? Oh, so the mayor thinks maybe she signed up for council instead. Okay, so we'll go on with our Rules Committee agenda then. The first item is approval of the Rules Committee meeting minutes for June 6th. Could someone please make a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, then all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Okay, we have approval of the Rules Committee meeting minutes. Then our items for consideration. Mayor Biss, would you like to move R1?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that we recommend the approval of Resolution 58-R-22, amending City Council Rule 5.6.2.
Second.
Okay, Councilmember Reed.
Yeah, I support generally the concept here. I do wonder, we have a few other rules that are similar to this that say that only a community member can chair committees that are reporting to a standing committee. And then this rule says that committees that report directly to council must be chaired by a council member. And so I'm wondering, do we want to just kind of eliminate, if this rule is superfluous, then I think maybe the other rule doesn't make a lot of sense either.
And I would second that if it's a motion. We're just trying to do away with all barriers. Let's do away with all barriers.
So yes, I move that. Let me get a little cleaner. It's Chair. Council Ruggie, do you happen to have the rules in front of you? I believe it's the corresponding. So if this is 562, then it's likely 56.
Yeah, it looks
So,
like
so you're proposing that we need to amend more than just this one section of the rules?
I would say this, the entire section that says, there's a section that talks about who can chair what committees, depending on if it's reporting to council or reporting to a standing committee. And as opposed to amending this, I just suggest we just strike all of it. So it's 562.
and 563.
562, 563. Yeah, and we no longer have a zoning board of appeals, correct? It's now the
Land Use Commission.
land use. So I think my motion is that we eliminate 562 and 563, that we update the language for zoning board of appeals to land use commission, and everything else. I mean, special committee that's ad hoc appointed by the mayor, that makes sense.
But I would, as committee chair, I'm thinking this is getting to be a more elaborate amendment than I feel comfortable with.
I really, if just to be clear, so right now we're changing the language of 562 to essentially eliminate 562.
Right.
So I would just say we eliminate it and eliminate 563, which is the same, essentially the same thing as 562, but in the inverse. And then my last thing is with 564, we no longer have a zoning board of appeals. So while we're here, we might as well just change it to land use commission. So it's fairly straightforward.
Right. Mayor Biss.
Thanks, Madam Chair. I'm certainly in agreement with the substance of what Councilmember Reed is proposing. I just want to, and sorry if this is a dumb question, it seems like 5.6.2 and 5.6.3 do two things. One is they restrict who can be the chair in a way that we're trying to do away with. The other is they determine who appoints the chair. If you strike these in their entirety, how is it determined who the chair is?
Oh, sorry, it's not a touch screen there. I'm not sure if there is another rule, but in that case, we can. I believe another rule addresses this. I'll pull up my own copy of the rules here. And if it does not, then we can leave 562.
And Chair, while he's doing that research, can I be recognized, please?
Councilmember Burns?
Thank you. And I just I knew the 5 point, this 5 point that was going to throw things off. I just want to be clear with what I'm saying or willing to support is it seems like we're saying whether you're a community member or an elected official, you should be able to serve on any committee if you're interested and you have the support of, whoever makes that appointment, whether it's the committee or, the mayor or some other way. So I'm fine going further than that, but that would be a win to me tonight. Is even if we could do that, then I would be supportive.
So I need someone to clarify where we are on this. Are we comfortable voting for 5.6.2 as the amendment shows in our packet? Councilmember Kelly.
So I wondered while Councilmember Reed is looking that up to see if appointment of chair exists somewhere else, if I could propose just a tiny amendment to this, to change out citizens with residents, if Mayor Biss accepts that as a friendly amendment.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I certainly hope it's not the case that I'm forbidden from appointing residents who don't happen to be U.S. citizens to boards and commissions. So I think residents is a better word.
And it's likely actually that we probably have that word citizens in a number of places in the rules. So maybe we should come back and make a universal change.
Okay.
Councilmember Nguyen.
I think that we should move forward with R1 at this point, because we all are in agreement with that. And then while Councilmember Reed does his research, I mean, we can take this vote and then discuss the next vote.
Yes, Councilmember Reed.
Yeah, I think what makes sense here is just striking in 562 and 563. So the language would say committees consisting of council members and residents, I think we should say, which report directly to council shall have a chair appointed by the Rules Committee for a term determined by the Rules Committee. And then 563 would say committees consisting of council members and residents which report to standing committees shall have a chair, elected by members of the committee.
So Councilmember Reed's proposing to strike 4 words. He's proposing to strike the words a council member as from 5.6.2, which is already in our packet. And then he's proposing also to strike the word citizen from 5.6.3.
Yeah.
Which again, the who appoints the chair would not change, or
Correct.
what body appoints the chair would not change. The only thing we're saying is you cannot be excluded from holding the chair position just for being a community member or an elected official. That's it.
Correct.
Okay. Yes, I will second that.
Okay, so would somebody like to restate?
Yeah, so the motion is to amend R1 to essentially just include 563 and strike the word citizen. And also, I think while we're at it, I think it's not a big lift to just say everywhere in the document, let's replace the word citizen with resident. So that's the motion.
Why don't we have that be a separate motion? So right now we're amending 5.6.2 as shown in our packet, except for replacing the word citizen with resident. Correct?
Correct. And that,
And then we're also amending 5.6.3.
to strike the word citizen before chair, and I guess to also replace where citizen appears separately with the word resident.
Could you say that one more time?
To also separately replace the word citizen in 563. There's citizen is stated twice here, so the second one will be stricken, and the first one will be replaced with resident.
Okay. So everybody in the committee clear on this? Do we have a second to your motion? I guess Councilmember Burns seconded that.
Yes.
Okay, everybody is all clear. Okay, then, all in favor, please say.
Can I,
Whoops.
That's fine.
You're
I was,
okay?
I was going to call for a roll call, but that's fine. We can do a voice vote.
Oh, because we have some people not all, not.
No, just
All right, let's do a roll call.
Councilmember Kelly. Councilmember Nguyen.
Aye.
Councilmember Burns.
Aye.
Councilmember Ravel.
Aye.
Councilmember Reed.
aye.
Mayor Biss.
Aye.
Okay,
6 ayes.
yeah, the motion carries, thank you. And then do you want to make another motion about replacing the word citizens with,
Yeah,
Residents
I'll move
throughout.
that we replace the word citizen with the word resident throughout our rules.
okay. And can we have another roll?
Second.
Yeah, okay, can we have another quick roll call, please?
Councilmember Kelly.
Aye.
Councilmember Nguyen. Councilmember Burns.
Aye.
Councilmember Ravel.
Aye.
Councilmember Reed.
Aye.
Mayor Biss.
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much. We have those two passed. So now we're ready for R2.
Oh, and now we're back to the main motion.
Beg your pardon?
Now we're back to the main motion to R1 itself.
So R1 has now been amended twice, which would mean we're now
Okay.
ready to vote on the amended R1.
Okay, thank you. So the main motion.
Councilmember Kelly. Councilmember Nguyen. Councilmember Burns.
Aye.
Councilmember Ravel.
Aye.
Councilmember Reed.
Aye.
Mayor Biss.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. So, Councilmember Kelly, could you make a motion with R2, please?
I'd like to move R2, ordinance 64022, amending Title II, Section 10 of the City Code Environment Board.
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion?
Right.
Pretty straightforward. Oops. Councilmember Kelly.
I just had one question about the bylaws of the Environmental Board and which sort of takes precedence because I think it's also discussed in the bylaws membership. Does anybody know?
And if I may, because we're amending the ordinance certainly takes precedent over any rules or bylaws of that board.
Okay, so if that's part of the bylaws discussion or rules regarding membership, that is,
It couldn't be contrary to the law. The ordinance is the supreme law of this land.
okay.
And so if the bylaws of the Environment Board provide for the membership, they should amend their bylaws to.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if there's standard procedure or whether normally you would have the board or commission first address that just as protocol.
Well, this issue has certainly been discussed by the Environment Board, so it's not going to be a surprise to them.
Great. Thank you.
All right, then, I'm just, since this one was not amended, I'm happy to have, we can
Voice vote's fine.
we can just do a voice vote. Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no? All right, so we have amended the membership for the Environment Board. And Councilmember Nguyen, would you move item R3 for us?
Yes, thank you. I move ordinance 51022, amending City Code Title I, Chapter 10, Section 5, official misconduct.
Okay. Is there a discussion? Or Councilmember Kelly, I know you were interested in that in particular.
Well, it's been amended already.
Right.
The amended language is in there, including residents, so, and taking out, I think it was like intended or perceived threat. So it just reads now, the fourth bullet point under official misconduct to include residents. So exercises, so prohibited harassment may include but not limited to intimidating or coercing a covered person or city resident such that the behavior creates a hostile environment. So I'm satisfied with that amended language. Thank you.
Great. Is there any other discussion?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Councilmember Kelly,
I'm
the
sorry.
part about perceive, did we strike that? There was something about perceive.
That's been removed.
Okay, good. All right.
Okay, Councilmember Reed.
One thing that kind of stands out to me here is it says verbal conduct including taunting, jokes, threats, epithets, derogatory comments, or slurs. Everything at the end ties back to an individual's protected status. So it seems as though these kind of comments would not be a violation if it wasn't about a protected status. And I'm just curious why we're only including protected, you could, for example, make fun of somebody because they wear glasses and, go around calling stuff four eyes.
I wondered about that too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, this language is coming from the,
It seems like it's coming from the state law regarding harassment, and so truly our state law covers this, and this would be official misconduct under our state law, which I believe is a felony. And so it seems like we're taking something that would be a felony, and we're making it a municipal ordinance violation. And really, the only people who can violate this are, city staff and council members. So it seems like we're actually downgrading something that maybe should be felonious for a council member to, do these things, especially based on someone's protected status. So I'm all for this, and particularly because it's already the law and it's a felony. I don't know how I feel about making it essentially less than.
other discussion from the committee? Yep. Yes, legal counsel.
Thank you, Chair Ravel. Just because we're adding this to the ordinance, it does not mean that it's not a felony. The charges can be brought in both places under state law or the city ordinance. So there is the option for both. It's just the city is now codifying what is also state law, but it's still a felony under state law.
Councilmember Nguyen.
I understand your point, Councilmember Reed, but not everyone wants to bring who might have a grievance would not necessarily want to bring a case if it meant the penalty is a felony, and also that they would have to go to court for it, as opposed to this would be heard before our ethics board. And certainly I don't want to stop anyone from going to a court, but I think that this does provide an intermediate level of sanction that would be available to someone who brought a grievance. So I support moving forward with this.
Councilmember Reed.
Thank you. Certainly, I'm not opposed to it, but I do think it almost, there could be a sense of, potential almost coercion into making people feel as though they have to go through this system because I'm going after, in this case, an elected official who people could perceive as powerful, and so they feel somehow coerced or threatened in some way or fear retaliation, and so they go the lesser route as opposed to going what should, this is a fairly serious, again, this would be making racially threatening or taunting jokes toward a city staff member. This isn't, again, making fun of somebody's glasses. What we have in front of us is pretty serious. So I just want us to keep that in mind. And then Council Ruggie, just for my own edification, if someone were to, there are, let's say, state charges for some felonious offense, and then there's a felony, then there's a similar charge at the federal level for the exact same offense. So you're saying someone could be charged for murder, under the same circumstances at both the state and federal level, and that wouldn't constitute double jeopardy?
No.
So that couldn't happen, basically because the federal, like if there was a federal murder, there's only certain laws in which it would be a federal crime. So if a murder crossed state lines, that would be in the jurisdiction of the federal court. But if it just happened within the state, then the state would handle the charges. And I'm not saying that an ordinance violation is not criminal. So it's therefore not double jeopardy to have an ordinance violation as well as a state charge, because it's just a civil violation.
Councilmember Kelly.
So I did also inquire about this with legal before, and a lot of the first bullet point is as relates to protected status, as is physical conduct. I mean, all those bullet points are all tied to protected status. So the response that I got to that this was a while ago, but it was any of these tend to be illegal in most contexts. The point of adding the protected status explicitly to the harassment policy is to ensure that although those physical acts on their own, I think that's bullet point 3, they can also be seen as harassment in a larger context. I don't know if that answer is sufficient, but I understand your concern.
Councilmember Nguyen.
I just pass.
Okay. So are we comfortable moving ahead with a vote? Any more conversation? Okay, then all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Okay, thank you. So we have concluded our business. Whoops. Mayor Biss.
I just wanted to kind of apologize to the group. There's a bit of a scheduling snafu, which is why our next meeting is at 6:30, and so we have a little bit of a break. So there was just a miscommunication that resulted in that. But I would ask that everyone be here promptly at 6:30 so that we can get moving as efficaciously as possible. Yeah, I mean, so I really wish that we had posted the meeting for 6 or even 5:30, but we messed up. My apologies. The Open Meetings Act being what it is, we certainly can't move it up. It has to begin at 6:30 or later, but I would just ask that it begin at 6:30 sharp, because I know a lot of different members of council are on tight schedules, and I want to be respectful of everyone's time.
Right, yeah. No, the public's expecting it at 6:30. Yeah. So do I consider us adjourned.